There we go. All right. So we're just gonna give it a little bit for Tim to slide through. He is our main go-to guy for the VA process, and what he's gonna do is go over some of the things that a lot of us don't know. He might even talk about your percentages and how to increase them. He might talk about the VA. We were just talking about it backstage. What was it? The work.
Oh, the small business loan.
Yeah. Through the VA's. It slipped my mind.
You
We
talking
were
about the
just.
vocational rehab?
Thank you. There it is. Vocational
Yeah.
rehab.
Yeah, my bad. I was busy.
Just wanted to drop in and show some love to Bubba Colt. Call the other. Always gonna show love and support to you, especially where stuff like this is concerned. Much love. Hey, obsolete Bubba. I appreciate you popping in, Bubba. You're more than welcome to hang around, talk, put some 2 cents in. Right now, we are just talking about how our weeks went. This is a moment of regrouping, resupplying, and recalibrating. So, what you got, J Devil? How'd your week go?
It's actually going a lot better.
Hey, Misty.
So we all have rough patches, or whatever. And thanks, Brad right here. He really helped me out a lot, and that just comes to show like us veterans and brothers really are there for each other, even when we're not in uniform. We're still in the same fight together. I am actually on a show now. It's on 420. It's a 420 show. It's called Up in Smoke. And I'm actually I got an event page for it and everything. I made the flyer. It's pretty cool looking, so it's gonna be a good time.
Awesome.
Hey, that's cool. Any challenges that you faced this week that you had to stop and really, really, really recalibrate and get yourself right?
Yeah,
I appreciate you, Misty.
yeah. Actually, been battling the same thing for over like about a year now. Just keeps coming back and just kind of finally opened myself to realize that sometimes you gotta let things go, and sometimes it's the hardest thing, especially when you don't want to give up. You're used to fighting and not giving up.
Yeah. No. I get that. I get that. And any positive? How did you overcome it? How'd you become? How'd you get on top of it? You know what I mean?
Just kind of like it is trying not to sound crazy, but like kind of like in a way talking to myself after reevaluating myself, just be like what is it worth beating yourself up over. Look at all the stuff I've done, the stuff I'm doing, the people around me. Like I always tell people when I used to be the motivator, or I am still a motivator to a lot of people, and I would say the world doesn't stop spinning. So if you decide to stop spinning, it's going to spin with or without you. So you might as well keep going.
Mm. Mm.
I like that.
Well said. Well said. Hey, well, I appreciate you coming through. What flavor crown did you have for lunch today?
Well, I had the orange one. The yellow one was out of stock. Kind of low on supply because of me.
All right, Mr. Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Big soon-to-be Sergeant First Class. Hey, cross your fingers on the first look.
Yeah, we'll see. The results come out in May, so we'll see.
Pretty
good chance though.
Hey, fingers crossed on that one, Bubba. As the ones in the chat, as y'all are watching, staying involved, I served with Brandon, same duty station. We were moved to similar FOBs, base of operations over in Afghanistan. We had similar missions, just
same company, different platoons.
Yeah, same company, different platoons. So it was forever blood right there for me.
It was
my battle.
What, 11 years ago?
Yeah, 11 years ago.
You feel old yet?
Dude, I hear old.
I woke up and sneezed this morning and my back cracked.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no. This is the start of the decline.
Yep, the knees done gave out because of the military. Triple T. No. You're good, Bubba. We are adapting and overcoming. We're talking about our weeks, so you got plenty of time, Bubba.
Hoorah, Triple T.
He was Army. Say it right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not,
Feel that crap here. All right.
I can't say.
Train horn. Welcome in. Hey, and for everyone in the chat, this is also open for y'all. Put in the chat. How'd your week go? What kind of walls did you have to hurdle to keep pushing? Brandon. Well, hey, sweetheart. Welcome to the chat. How was your week?
Very busy. Being gone for 3 weeks, coming back. I had my OIC at my station. Monday was his last day.
Yeah.
So this whole week has just been one trying to catch up for the past 3 weeks of everything going on, and then also now having 18 plus more applicants that he can't work anymore. So trying to figure all that stuff out. So it's been a lot of late days in the office and getting everything situated, but all good. Freaking just
What's up, Jeremiah?
continue the grind.
So
yeah.
you see, you had 18 different applicants that
There's people that like he was working.
Anymore?
No, it was more like people that he has like either been working for a while or just started that like he can't since he's gone. So between me and the other guy at our station, it's been all week of reaching out to them, figuring out like where they're at, what we need to do, and yeah,
you would think that like the OIC would have had it in like a share drive with their process.
We do it all in like we have our system, so everything is supposed to get done in our system, but like even one that like I was talking with today, like not everything that he sent back to the OIC was uploaded, just because he also got to a point where like he was clearing and doing all this stuff. So like he probably got it, but never like actually uploaded it. So I have to go through, and it's just a whole lot of paperwork, a whole lot of fun stuff, but not anything bad. It's the job I do. So, and I love doing it. So,
Right.
yeah, it's just a lot more work than what I was anticipating on doing this week.
Well, I mean, you are coming back from SLC, so I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm
what do you
also
expect?
still a little salty about that. I got ranked 3 in the class, and I was 0.2 behind commandant's list. And because I uploaded my working draft of my analytical essay, it's still my fault. It's nothing that I can blame anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's still my fault. I uploaded the wrong one, but I got a 90 on my analytical essay. So that dropped me down. I had like a 95.7 GPA. So yeah, it messed me up. So I'm a little salty about it, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, you're too smart to be in the Marine Corps. That's for damn sure.
I will tell you right now, that analytical essay, like, there's a reason why I have done like not as much college as I probably should have. I hate writing essays, and that essay was like reading like a 30-page report and then writing it based off mission command, and I hated every single second of it.
Like it's almost like a 9-paragraph order.
No, so it was like so what I had to do specifically was it was based off of this unit from Paktika province in Afghanistan from 2010 to 2011, and how they were able to build the relationships and stuff with the ANA to where it got to a point where the ANA were out doing like convoy security and route clearance and all that stuff without like the Americans having to go with them. So with the 7 steps of mission command, we had to go through and base off of what they did during their time, and now what we know based off of the outcome of it, like what we would have changed differently, and like all that crap.
Thank you, Misty.
Our unit had a lot of problems with the ANA when we were over there. A lot of times, like they wouldn't breach the houses we had to, and they would like stay behind, almost like they didn't want to be there.
But the gist of it, which still props to this unit, like it was still cool learning about it because I didn't know about this at all. But like they were doing stuff to where even they had like the entire like ANA from like their area. They would do like weekly big unit dinners, and like cook for them and do all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like that probably would have helped if we did it instead of just trading in them like they were like less important.
Yeah.
So it's still cool, but like, I was like, why do I have to like write a paper to get through SLC? And then they obviously explained it, and I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense, because obviously, like, I'll be like, as like a typical platoon sergeant, everybody that like your OICs are college educated, and have written papers, so you need to start doing that even if you haven't yourself.
Right.
Spencer, what's going on? Welcome in. Trav, good to see you, Bubba. Coming over from Country Rap Shit. I see y'all. Welcome in to the Watchtower. We're waiting just a couple more minutes. We got Triple T, for those who do know him. He's coming in and talking about the VA process. For those that are about to get out, soon to get out, have been out, and need assistance navigating the process, he has the expertise within that navigation, that system. But until then, we just talked about our week. How'd it go? Welcome to regrouping, resupplying, and recalibrating for a strong week next week. You know what I mean? Brad, what about you, Bubba? How'd your week go? Talk about it.
It was a very eventful week, actually, man. A lot of new things. It seemed like before I had too much idle time. I would get in my head a lot, but this week things changed for me. I picked up a lot of new tasks, and just trying to stay on the ball with everything. But I found out about some new things that the VA offers as far as recreational therapy goes and things like that. I actually got involved with some new, uh, like golf and rock climbing, and there's like kayaking, uh, skiing in the winter. These are things that I didn't even know about, man, until I actually went and got seen at the VA.
Where's this located at?
I use the St. Louis VA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out St. Louis.
Which we have. Yeah, we have
Craig.
2. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying what's up to the chat.
Oh, I
Craig,
got you.
Craig said look into sled hockey.
Sled hockey.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's my boy. He's from my same hometown.
Any VA has it. Okay.
Any VA. Okay. But yeah, there's a lot of like recreational therapy. I didn't even know about it, but now that I've gotten involved and I see other veterans involved with it, it's a really good thing. It teaches you about mindfulness, trying to get over that fear of anything really. Anything new that we do, we have that fear and that anxiety with it. Well, they teach you about how to be in the present moment and try not to worry about all those other fears. You know what I mean?
We were just talking about this last week too.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That is it's very crazy.
You went all the way in, like, nope, we're doing this. Mindfulness, I'm going to know my red flag.
Exactly, dude. We actually, like today, they was teaching us about how to relax the whole body. You know how you tense up all your muscles in your body one by one, and then you relax them, and it puts your whole body in a relaxed state. It's a real thing. You know what I mean? I'm not just talking shit, but it's a real thing. You just gotta be present and be one, and just be. You know what I mean?
That's insane.
Keep your mind from wandering. It's a powerful thing for sure.
Now you got me curious to go back to the VA. I've never been a fan of the VA. Never been a fan.
I always treat you like you're trying to get something out of them when you just want help.
I look, I'm just trying to doggone be a better me.
Right.
How about that?
Right.
More confident me, more proud of myself in what I do, more mindful in how I speak, and just overall just the confidence is what I'm looking for. I know I've lacked that since getting out, because I don't know. I felt like I've lost a lot, from my purpose to my confidence to my pride, and then I walk around like, I ain't shit. So it's not been fun. So you make me want to go and take a look at that again.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I would say for sure anybody don't give up on the VA. The VA has changed and it's changed for the better. I'm gonna tell you that, from personal experience. Um, and just being around
100%.
everybody again. Like I said, even though it's a therapy and it's a VA appointment, I was around brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That have served. So and been through similar things. So it gives you that sense of, I guess, relief because you feel the same as everybody else versus how we feel as veterans in the civilian world.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Even and to piggyback off of that, I'll tell you this: I'm starting a health journey, and there'll be more to come on that. You can follow me on all my socials, but mainly Brad LaField. But we're gonna get into some diet, some exercise, and learning a lot more about it. And my goal here is to learn it and to help others. And what I said about it was I'm saving my life to save others' lives.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of habits. Good to
Yep.
know, Craig. I appreciate that, especially you saying that there are some teams out there within the VA that have vet teams that really know what you're seeking, what you're looking for.
Yeah, Craig,
And
I know I've talked to you about it. Do you still do that sled hockey stuff every year? Because I know that was a big thing that he was in on was doing that. That helped him a lot whenever he got out.
yeah, he put it in the chat. He goes, look into sled hockey, best kept secret. So I've never done hockey, so I mean, yeah, I get on the ice and probably break my ankles again. I don't know.
But see, that's the thing though. They bring you from square one, basically like you're in basic training, like you're a nobody. It don't matter. They help you
Funny story about
through
Third
every
season
step.
going strong.
Heck yeah,
Nice.
man, that's awesome.
I was actually taught how to ice skate by a St. Louis Blues goalie. Actually, my mom dated a St. Louis Blues player when I was a kid. We went to St. Louis Mills Mall when they used to practice there.
Yeah.
And we got off the ice. We watched them practice, and I cut my hand open trying to get the ice off the skate. And one of the players rushed me to the bathroom, cleaned it off, wrapped my hand, and my mom was like freaking out as I went missing. And he's like, "Oh, I got your kid right here." And then they started dating for a month, and he moved on.
Hey, shout out
That's
to
crazy.
Sarah. Y'all see that? I had a terrible experience about 20 years ago with the VA in Atlanta. Now in Mariana, Florida, and Tallahassee and Gainesville, Florida, I've had really good experiences for mental health. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll put some more on that as well on the mental health part.
What up, Jeffrey?
Something else I learned this week. I don't know if y'all have heard about it, but the VA offers something called Live Whole Health, and basically what it is, you've heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard
Dude,
of it.
it's huge. It's a spiritual thing. It's it's exercise. It's it's basically where they focus on
Ghost.
what matters to the veteran versus what's the matter with the veteran. You see what I did there?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting deep with it. I mean, because like back in the day, you come in, you tell them your symptoms, they hand you some pills, you do what you got to do, you realize the pills don't work, and you give up on the VA.
Yep.
Well, this time they say, hey, what do you want to do in life? Well, where do you want to be in life? And
Music.
Huh?
Music.
Oh yeah, music. That's a great outlet. So
Amen.
it's so they bring it back to that, and it's like this. It's a circle, and I would have to get some info on it, some brochures and stuff. But I can definitely
Yeah,
we can show them some of that next time or
Look,
sometime.
I've been out for what, better part of 8-9 years maybe. Got out in 17.
16 here.
So almost a decade I've been out. In the VA that I'm familiar with, it was just, here's a handful of pills, go away. We'll mail you them so you don't have to come back. I'm like, okay.
The VA made me feel worthless. It's kind of like the same way. Like if you even had a simple question when you were waiting to go in, like, oh, you wait, like, didn't even feel like welcomed at all. I was in Danville, Illinois.
I'm still dealing with the VA. It's all good though. I mean, I'm feeling a little more confident in diving into the part of the VA that I was unaware of.
You're hidden behind your green screen with the paper, man.
Yeah, it ain't gonna let me show you.
Nah.
That I was unaware of, that they don't really publicize. They don't really talk about the other avenues to really help the veterans. I even I didn't know that, which is fantastic having T come up because he may have some knowledge. I'm sure he will, but he may have some information that, like, how do I go about talking to Voc Rehab for small business loans? I got 2 LLCs that I'm trying to kick off that I've been coming out of pocket for since I've kicked them off. But apparently, this Voc Rehab, if I follow the right procedures and the right steps, I could qualify for a doggone grant to really kick off these small businesses. You daggum right, I want to know about that. Hold up, there is like hunting trips for the veterans that I could go on that they'll help you with.
What?
What were you talking about, Brad? You were also talking about there was golfing trips that they gave you a nice doggone set of clubs.
Yep, they actually did.
Like,
It was crazy. It was amazing. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Trav says, to all the vets and all that are fighting now for our freedom, thank you all for your service. I know you don't hear it enough, but all y'all do matter. Thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all. I see all y'all always putting in there. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it. I know we don't tell y'all enough. It don't seem like we see y'all's comments, but we do, and we do appreciate it, guys.
Definitely.
And girls.
Yeah, and we're only on episode 4 of this. As we begin to grow with the Watchtower and begin to make folks more aware, civilian, veteran, in service or not. You could be dependent. You could be just a patriotic individual that supports veterans. This is open for y'all as well. You'll get to hear the veteran side or active side, like Brandon here. Brandon is still active. So you got two Army vets, former Marine, and an active Army NCO, a senior NCO at that. So you get to hear it from different sides.
Yeah, I know. I look like I'm 14, but I've been in for like a month.
You've always looked like that.
Yeah.
You can't grow it out yet.
Even worse back then. It's
Why
unreal, man.
did they do that to y'all? They did my cousin like that with his medicine for his PTSD, made him feel worthless, but he is doing way better now. I'm going to tell him about y'all's show. Hey, bring him in, Brandon.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Bring him in. And we'd be honored to have special guests to come up and talk. Just talk. Talk like brothers, like we used to. What up, Wisco? Good to see you. Stone Panda, welcome back. Craig, I'm going on a fly fishing trip through the vet program. That, man,
Yeah, they actually offer that here as well.
What the heck?
Fly fishing. I signed up for that.
Stone Panda, have you found your neck, Bubba? You leave my neck alone.
And then, like I told you about the skiing, the snowboarding, kayaking, rock
Justin,
climbing.
welcome in.
You name it, man. It's there, and it's a therapy. You know what I mean? It's sports and it's fun, but you learn a lot, and it's therapy.
Ghost said, my cousin served in Afghanistan for a few years. When he came home, he got no help or support from anywhere. He took his life 6 months after coming home. God.
Oh shit! I hate to hear that.
No, man.
Take my head off on that one.
Yep.
I actually actually.
Yeah, absolutely. My hair's probably all messed up.
It means a lot to me, guys.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's something we have to stop.
And this is something that we stand on is the 22 a day. One is too many. But the 22 a day, the veterans that take their lives has been calculated to 22 lives taken by their own hands a day. And I want y'all to remember that we do struggle, even though we might not doggone talk about it because we don't know how to go through it ourselves, so we don't know how to bring it up to y'all to make sense of it, so we end up in a turmoil in our own heads.
Mm.
Ghost, I'm sorry.
All we got to each other, man. And
until we meet again in Valhalla.
And that is a big thing that we're also trying to help with this podcast is like letting everybody know that like they don't have to go through everything alone. And even though like in general we suck at communicating our emotions and stuff, but like letting like everybody know, not just military but also civilians and stuff, that there's plenty of resources and like other people out there that are willing to help.
Definitely. I just pinned a comment in there. Make sure y'all go check out our page, Battles Raising Awareness for Veterans Out Here Struggling. That's an acronym. You know, us military folks, we love our acronyms. Yep. It's going to be Bravos. And I post a lot of motivational stuff. I share a lot of stuff, even VA stuff or even things that other veterans are doing, different nonprofits. I share a lot of stuff. So it might help you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there.
And yeah, they do share some good informational stuff that I've been keeping track on. Stoned, y'all ever wanted to try Demolition Derby? Oh yeah, absolutely. Until I see it actually happen, and then I'm like, yep, there goes my doggone spine. Oh, that neck issue I'm having, that just doggone made it much worse.
I think it'd still be fun to experience at least once.
Oh yeah.
Like, that'd be awesome. Tried convincing my family that's probably the best idea. It's probably not going to be the easiest conversations.
And not to make it dark, but Colt, remember how I wore a uniform and I told you I didn't have my boots no more?
You're welcome.
Thank you. The actual reason I don't have my combat boots no more was because of a suicide attempt. So what I was going to say about us being there for each other is I was just in a time, it was maybe 6 months after I got out, and I just didn't feel like me. Like, even though I was like excited to come home, it just didn't feel the same. No one seemed the same. Nothing was the same. And I just lost it. I didn't have anyone I can call, I felt like. So I went to a park and took my boots out and I tried to hang myself from a tree, and a cop pulled out, and he like ran to me and he like cut me down, and I took off from him, and he like chased me through the woods, and I ended up at a train track, and a train started coming, and he just like got on his knees and started crying. He's like, please don't do this. I can't. He's like, as a man, just don't do this. I can't see this again. And then he told me the story about his roommate when he was in the Marine Corps as well, committed suicide in front of him. And I told him about my brother, and he sat me down, and he didn't even put me in cuffs or anything. Like, he was supposed to in procedure to take me to the hospital. Just, he was real. And, you know, that he saved me, not him being a cop, but him being a human being.
Him being a battle. And that's exactly what this is for, y'all. Trav, I don't. You served or you didn't serve. Yes, this is veteran built. This is veteran operated, but we want folks like you. We want folks that haven't served or may have family members that have served, or just here for the camaraderie and the brotherhood that we're building. This is for everybody. Y'all, I want to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Triple T.
Whoop, whoop.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Triple T?
Another veteran in the veteran community, and one to definitely look up to. Very knowledgeable. Yeah. Thank you for coming up, T.
Thanks for having me.
Krista, what's going on? Welcome in. Ghost, suicide isn't the answer, even if it feels like the only one. Need more support for people who served more.
Completely agree.
Yeah,
Never make a permanent
Facts,
solution out of a
Disco.
temporary problem.
Yep.
shout out to the BMet Illinois Police Department. They're made of mostly veterans. They're good people.
T, I don't know if you want to get your stuff locked in or if you want to share this to your socials as well. And just leaving it open for you.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we, as stated, we are going to go through the VA process, and if anybody in the chat has any questions or anybody on the panel has any questions, we'll ask T. He is the man. So here we go.
All right. Does anybody on the panel not at 100%?
I'm still in right now, so no.
I'm not at 100%.
Who said that?
J Devil.
Okay.
Trying to situate this. Hold on.
I'm TDIU, Triple T.
TDIU? Temporary?
Right.
Okay. All right. If you want, Colt, go ahead and take this screen down and let us just up on the panel so I can just so they can see me when I talk to everybody.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Go.
Not me. God, that ugly
Just
mug.
put the one over there. One more.
There we go.
No,
Yeah.
not me. I'm saying make us all equal.
Oh, I can do that.
Four quarter.
There we go.
I
Okay.
No, this one. I like this one.
All right. So who said that they're not 100%?
Eh,
Got you, J Devil. All right. And True American, you say you're temporary.
TDIU, correct. 100. I'm getting paid 100%, but I'm at 90 schedule.
Okay. And do you have a revalve in like 3 years?
Yes.
Okay. So good. Is there any veterans in the chat?
From what I'm reading, we got a couple.
All right.
David, was it? Give me a
So
second.
you're going to hear all kind of rumors about the VA.
Craig.
You're going to hear that people say that the VA sucks. They're out to get you. They're going to deny your claim. They're the worst thing since beginning of time.
Facts.
Now, I do work for the VA, but right now I am not representing the VA. I just need to throw that disclaimer out there. I'm representing myself as a civilian, and I'm just talking as a veteran. But I can assure you, at the VA, they have no intentions on ever denying a claim. They will give you a percentage for every single thing that you claim. They only ask for one thing in return. Does anybody know what that is?
No.
Anybody want to take a guess?
Honesty, probably.
Hell, I love it when people say that. No, they don't care about honesty.
Oh, heck yeah, I'm like my ass off then.
They want a percentage of your cut.
There you go. Let's just fucking put our integrity in the toilet. What's up, Precision? Welcome in.
No, they want evidence.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're so strict about that, because the VA is governed by Congress. They determine what percentages that the VA puts out. The VA doesn't make those rules. The Congress does.
Okay.
So on 1 October, at the beginning of the fiscal year, Congress will send over their staff members to the headquarters building to conduct an audit. Happens every year from 1 October to 30 April, the VA is being audited. Now, 60 days prior to that audit, the VA sends over a budget request to Congress. And in that budget request, they have to show how many veterans are on the books at that time and how many they predict will be veterans for the next fiscal year. Let's say that total amount is 15 million people. They allocate all 15 million people to get paid at 100%. That money is already there. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is when they come in and conduct that audit, they're going to request 10% of all the claims the VA did the previous year. I can tell you for the last fiscal year, the VA did over 5.5 million claims as a whole. So that means they're going to turn over 550,000 plus claims, and they're going to go through them line by line. For every percentage that the VA gives out, they want to make sure they have the evidence to back it up. If they don't, they take a hit. After so many hits, then they'll start deducting money from their budget. When that happens, that creates a ripple effect. It affects VA compensation checks, hospital, supplies, staff, things of those nature. But the most important thing, not to me, but the people in headquarters, it affects their bonuses. Now, if you know anything about people with money, they don't like to lose money.
No.
That's why they're very strict on evidence. Make sense?
So how does that affect TMP?
I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Now, when you put your claim in and it goes to a rater, that rater's, when they put their name on your claim, they're going to start out with the number 100. Their goal is to maintain between 90 and 100. Why? Because they work off of production. Higher their production number, higher their bonuses. They get bonuses as well. The job I do, we're the only people in the VA that don't get bonuses because we don't work off production. Now, when they start out with that 100, they're going to do all these requests on you. They're going to do a periods of service. They're going to do a VIS report, an ERA report, a LEAR report, a DPRS request, your military records, your 201 file, your medical records, your DD-214. Depending on how long you've been in, for a retiree, it can be between 8 to 13 requests. If you're just getting out, it can be anywhere between 5 to 8 requests. And every time they request something, that's a 45-day wait. The longer their name stays attached to your claim, lower their production number, lower their bonuses. Okay? And the reason why I'm telling you all that non-relevant information, because you have to understand how the process goes. The raters want to rate your claim as quickly as possible. And the best way they can rate it as quickly as possible, if you have the evidence. If you don't have the evidence, it prolongs the claim. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, if you want to go ahead and pull my screen up.
Yes, sir.
All right. The VA is just like the military. The military has different branches. So does the VA, even though everybody works for the VA. And those branches are, you have your Veterans Administration, Health Administrations, the VHA, that's your hospitals. You got the Benefits Administration, the VBA, that's the branch I work for. And then you have the Veterans National Cemetery, the VNC. As veterans, you have the option to be buried in the National Cemetery if that's where you wish your final resting place to be. There are 2,500 veteran cemeteries across the United States. If you have a significant other you want laid rest beside you, you have to pay for them, of course, unless they're a veteran. Everything is free. The only thing that you actually pay for is your casket or your urn, depending on how you want to be laid to rest. Now, if you get buried in a civilian cemetery, the only thing the VA will provide is a free flag and a 21-gun salute. So if you don't want to put a financial burden on your family members when you pass, I highly recommend that you get buried in a veteran cemetery. Like I said, there are 2,500 cemeteries across the United States. Each one has its own director. So you just have to make arrangements with them sooner than later. How do you find them? Simply just Google, hey, where's the nearest veteran cemetery near you? And it'll tell you exactly where it is. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
No, good
All
to
right.
know, though.
Pretty straightforward.
Now, what does the VBA do? They do compensations, pensions, VA home loan, and vocational rehab. Now, person up top, Brandon, you said you're still in, correct?
Correct.
Have you ever heard of SFL TAP?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Anybody else ever heard of SFL TAP?
Yes.
No.
Mm-mm.
All right. So SFL TAP is a program that they allowed active duty soldiers to go through 2 years before they get out to try to transition back into civilian life. Where it's like a job fair. They teach you everything about the VA. They teach you about your benefits and all that. Okay. What I'm getting at is the vocational rehab is kind of like SFL TAP, the VA vocational rehab. What I mean by that is you go to a facility, something similar to theirs. They have a bunch of counselors there, and their whole purpose is to get you gainfully employed. They'll help you with job resumes, job interviews, mock boards, things of those nature. But one of the most important things a lot of people don't know about what I'm about to tell you is that the VA vocational rehab gets millions, and I mean millions of dollars poured into them every year by the federal government, and they actually give out grants for people to start a business. And because it's a grant, you don't have to pay that money back. That's basically free money. So what I'm getting at is at any point in your time in your life, you feel like becoming an entrepreneur and you want to start some type of business, before you go talk to any family members, friends, or banks to get any type of loans, Go visit your nearest VA vocation rehab and talk to them first. And if you don't qualify for that grant, they can also give you equipment to start that business, like laptops, computers, tools, things of those nature, which saves you money as well. How do you find them? Simply just Google. Google's an amazing thing. Hey, where's the nearest VA vocation rehab near you? And it'll tell you exactly where it is. Now, it'll never be at a VA hospital, but it may be close by one. That's why you want to Google their address. Any questions on that?
Yeah. I've got 2 LLCs that I am trying to grow, but I keep coming out of pocket, my own pocket, to invest in the equipment I need, invest in.
Go to the VA vocation rehab and talk to them and try to get that grant.
Okay, and how, do you know anything about that process as far like the in depth? What is it like? I just go fill out a paperwork and
Yep.
and hope the EIN is been an EIN long enough that they're like, okay, yeah, here's free money.
Yeah, that I can't give you the specifics on it because the vocational rehab is a different branch. That's its own entity by itself. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So you have to go talk to those people. Those are the subject matter experts.
Okay.
All right. Then there's VA home loans. Has anybody ever purchased a house using their VA home loan?
I'm in the process of it right now.
Okay.
I'm living in my house from a VA home loan.
So if you never bought a house or you're getting ready to buy a house or you want to refinance your house, I highly recommend you use a VA home loan. Why? It gives you a way better interest rate. Now, the only thing is the house must pass their inspection because they're very strict on that because they don't want a bunch of veterans living in a bunch of rundown houses, which makes sense. And it must be a permanent structure, meaning it cannot be a prefab modular or mobile home. Actually, it has to be a house. Now, if you want to build a house, what you have to do is go get a bank loan. When it gets to 90% complete, then contact the VA and then they'll take over from there. Any questions on that?
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yep. Then there's pensions. None of you on this panel have to worry about that. That's for veterans over 65, so you don't have to worry about that. Then there is compensation. When you file your VA claim, you are filing for compensation. It is not disability. Do not get them mixed up. Does anybody know the difference between disability and compensation?
The biggest difference is disability is for when you cannot work, and compensation is being paid for the traumas that you've experienced and stuff that you've been through.
Okay. How many of you ever heard of Social Security disability before?
Heard of it.
Okay. A lot of people think that Social Security disability and VA disability are the same. They're not. It's like night and day. If you're on Social Security disability, that's 100% disability. No, you cannot work. If you do, you commit fraud, you go to jail. VA disability, on the other hand, does not even exist. We just call it that for legal terms when dealing with the word compensation. For an example, everybody knows the term property tax, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna speak on the state of Louisiana. In the state of Louisiana, if you're a veteran and you own a home and you got a VA rating between 50 to 90%, your first $150,000 of your property tax will be tax-free under the homestead tax exemption law. If you're 100%, you don't pay anything. But how do you get that discount? Well, you actually have to go down to the tax office with your official ratings letter. And it's usually around the courthouse. Imagine if I walked into that tax office and it says, "Excuse me, sir, ma'am, but I got my VA compensation letter here." If I say compensation letter, I guarantee you I'm going to get that deer in the headlight look because they'll have no idea what I'm talking about. But if I walk in there and say, "Hey, I got my VA disability letter," they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's why the VA calls it disability and not compensation, because the civilian population cannot wrap their head around the word compensation. Make sense?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, here's the best way to explain compensation. Let's say we were all in the same area right now, right? And everybody went to Walmart to get some shopping. And when you got done shopping, you walked out to the parking lot, getting your vehicle to go home. And let's say I was in that parking lot at the exact same time. And like most people in most Walmart parking lots, I'm not paying attention. I'm on my cell phone watching some stupid Johnny Gobble video on YouTube, and I back out of my parking spot and I run you over and I break both your legs, and you get put in the hospital. You get out of the hospital and you tell me you're going to sue me. I say, hold on, let's settle out of court. You say, okay, fine. I want $20,000. Okay, I agree to those terms and I give you that money. What did I do by giving you that money?
You inevitably lost that money because there was no paper trail.
No, I compensated you, right?
Okay, yeah.
I compensate you financially, right?
Yeah.
That's all the VA is doing. They're just simply going to financially compensate you for your illness, injuries, and diseases that you acquire while on active duty. So when you get your ratings letter, if it says, sir, ma'am, the VA finds and deems you a permanent and total disabled. If it says permanent and total disabled, it doesn't matter if it's 10% or 100%. What that means is you can still work. You can do whatever job you want. There's no limitations on what you do. You want to dig ditches, build houses, be a race car driver, a doctor, a lawyer, a pro athlete. You can make $1 million a month. And guess what? On the first of every month, you'll still get your VA check. Why? Because it's 100% compensation. Now, for some strange reason, you come across someone who's such a smooth talker and he can sell a blind man reading glasses. If you come down here to this last bullet where it talks about unemployable versus employable, and you click that link, it'll tell you everything you need to know about unemployable versus employable. Bottom line is it's always compensation. It's never disability. You can make as much money as you want. The VA doesn't care. And on the first of every month, you'll still get your VA check. Now, do not get it mixed up with IU. IU is totally different. Okay. IU is like True American, what you're getting right now. You're at 90%, but you're being paid at 100%. Correct?
Right.
Okay. So you physically had to apply for that. Somewhere along the way, somebody convinced you, hey, why don't you just go ahead and file for this IU and they're going to go ahead and pay you at 100%. Did that happen?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I ended up getting a lawyer.
Right. And that was the worst thing you could have ever done.
Well, I mean, that's what I was telling these guys. You say the worst, but it was the best thing. But I'm sure it could have been a little better.
At the time, it probably seemed like the best thing, but in the long run, it's the worst thing because the thing is, you're at 90%, you're getting 100% pay, but you don't get all the benefits that come with that 100%.
Right. Well, I did. I got my property tax and all that.
Right, but you don't get the free education. You don't get the DIC if you die for your spouse.
Right.
You won't get none of that.
Gotcha. I'm still pushing.
So that's why it's always best to try to keep fighting for that true 100, so that way you get full benefits of it.
Right. Right. And that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I know it's going to take a while, but
well, hopefully after today, I'll be able to shine some light on what you need to do.
Okay.
Now, the next bullet I'm about to cover is kind of an oxymoron. By law, legally, whoever you work with when it comes to your VA claim, they have to put whatever you tell them to on your claim. Why? Because it's your claim. However, there are certain things if you try to claim, I'm going to tell you right now, don't even do it because the VA is not going to rate you for it. And that is high cholesterol, positive TB skin test, gray hair, and burn pit exposure. Okay. Now, everybody on the panel has been downrange?
Yep.
Yes.
Have you all been to the burn pit registry?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to highlight this link and I'm going to put it in the private chat.
Are you talking about the PACT Act?
No. The burn pit registry.
Okay. Is that part of it?
No. All right, there's a link for the burn pit registry.
Got it.
If you haven't registered, I highly recommend you register, and here's the reason why. Let's say since you've been out of the military, you developed lung cancer. And you felt that the area that you were deployed caused you to get that cancer, which is a good possibility because anybody who's ever been in the Middle East knows the air over there just plainly sucks.
Facts.
Right?
Right.
Facts.
So you put a claim in. The first thing the VA is going to do is they're going to go through your medical records to see if there's any past history of lung cancer. 9 times out of 10, nothing's going to be in there. The second thing they're going to do is they're going to look on your claim form to see if you checked off combat. And if you did, that would automatically tell that rater to go straight to that burn pit registry. And if you're in there, they'll service connect you that way. That will be your medical evidence. Now, it takes 40 minutes of your personal time, put all your personal information. When you do, they're going to send you a certificate, either through email or actual mail. However you get that certificate, make multiple copies of it. Then give it to people that you know and trust. That way you know there's one at all times. And then lock one up in a safety deposit box with your DD-214 and keep it to the day you die. And here's the reason why. Let's say 15 years after you got in the military, you did develop lung cancer. And you put a claim in. And everything I just explained just happened, but the VA denied you. You turn around, you call the VA up, and you say, hey, VA, why did you deny me? Well, we just couldn't find any evidence. And you say, well, I'm pretty sure I'm in the burn pit registry. And they say, no, you're not. You pull that little handy-dandy certificate out that they sent you, and you say, yes, I am. It's right here.
Yep.
Because trust me, you want to document everything when it comes to the U.S. government. And believe it or not, this burn pit registry actually does work. I got service connected on some things I didn't know I even had, all because I was in that burn pit registry. Make sense?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Very good
Okay.
to know.
Now, here's the $1 million question. How do they evaluate you and rate you? Well, there's this magnificent law that Congress wrote called the 38 CFR. This is the law written by Congress and determines how the doctors must examine you and how the raters must rate you. They just don't pull numbers out of the air. The problem is soldiers don't know how to find this law and they don't know how to read this law. So what I'm going to do now for the next 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to show you how to find it. I'm going to show you how to read it. That way, when you go into your VA exams, you'll be better prepared. Okay? Now, before I do that, I'm going to tell you 2 stories. And there's 3 reasons why I'm going to tell you these stories. 1, I want you to see how 2 claims may look. 2, I want to show you how 2 claims can be differently rated. And 3, honestly, I just like to tell stories. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
That's right.
All right. So after the 9/11 attack of the World Trade Center, my sister-in-law was an MP in the Louisiana National Guard. And she got activated and brought to Fort Polk, Louisiana to man the gates. That's how she met my little brother. He was an active duty MP soldier at the time. Early one morning while they were running in a platoon formation over by the airfield on the installation, she stepped in a pothole and she broke her right pinky toe. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this, but her pinky toe is about the size of the end of this pin. It is super, super small. And they ended up putting 2 screws in it. How the hell they got them in there is beyond me. Me personally, I'd have had him cut the toe off. But like most women, she was very fond of her toe, so she kept it. With a little bitty pinky toe with two screws in it, what type of rating do you think she got from the VA? Brandon?
Was that like the only thing that she had? Like the rating just off of that injury?
Yeah.
I guess probably 30%.
30%. All right. True American?
I would say 20.
20. J Devil?
Actually thinking about it, because I know your pinky toe and your big toe apparently have something to do with the equilibrium. It's possible she could have gotten higher than that.
Well, give me a percentage. What number do you think?
Yeah.
Huh?
50.
50? Okay. Colt?
0.
0. All right. Keep that number in mind. Now, here's the second story. Me personally, I was deployed to Iraq in 2006. I was an M1A1 tanker. Best job in the Army. If anybody tells you otherwise, tell them to come talk to me.
Abrams.
And we were attached to the infantry, and we were in the city of Hitt, which is western Ramadi, east of Al-Assad. While in the city of Hitt in 2006, from the months of April of 2006 to September 2006, I was directly hit by 5 IEDs. Twice while I dismounted, twice in a Humvee, once in a tank. Ended up getting 4 Purple Hearts. My injuries were 5 herniated discs, 3 of them with tears. I broke my L4, L5, L6 in 3 places. I was temporarily paralyzed for 87 days from the waist down. I have a battery about the size of a hockey puck implanted in my right buttocks. 2 fiber optic wires go from my right buttocks all the way to the base of my neck. And I have a device on my app, on my cell phone, that I have to shock myself from my neck all the way down to my toes so I can walk every day. The moment I turn my device off, within 30 minutes, I'll be incapacitated from the waist down. I'm considered legally paralyzed by the federal government. With that being said, Brandon, what type of percentage do you think I got?
Not service related.
You're saying it's not service
No,
related?
no. That's a joke. I mean, if that's not like 90 or 100, I don't know what would be. Like, it
Okay.
legally paralyzed, it's got to, I guess, 100.
All right. True American?
I would go with 100.
All right. J Devil?
I would hope 100.
All right. Colt?
20%.
All right. Remember that second number. Everybody told me I would get 100%. I had sergeant majors, full-bird colonels. Hell, I even had my division commander, Major General Robinson, come to my hospital room every day for 87 days in Landstuhl, Germany, looked me dead in the face and said, Sergeant Faust, don't worry about it. You're going to get 100%. VA's going to take care of you. All right, cool. I didn't worry about it. Who was I supposed to argue with a 2-star general? I was just a dumbass tanker, right? The problem was, when I got out of the military, this program that I'm about to discuss with you, which is called the pre-discharge program, it didn't exist back in February 2009. Back then, it was get out, go see the VA, file a claim, wait 3 to 6 months, wait for your results, and that's exactly what I did. The second problem was that 38 CFR, the law. It's public knowledge. Anybody can find it. Anybody can read it. I didn't know how to find it, and I definitely didn't know how to read it. If I did, I wouldn't have been as mad as I was when I got my final results. So now I'm going to show you why I did not get 100, a 90, an 80, a 70, a 60, a 50, a 40, or a 30. So you put this very long web address right here where it says 38 CFR, and then it'll bring you to this website
What's
right
up, baseball mom? Welcome in.
right here. Okay. Now, if you look right here at this first red arrow, can someone read that date? Anybody can see that?
January 30th of 2025.
Right. Now, of course, this slide is a little outdated. Today's date is what?
21st.
Yep, the March
21st of March,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
If you look up the 38 CFR today, it says March 19th, meaning the law is only 2 days old. This law gets updated every single day, Monday through Friday. Okay? The only time it doesn't get updated is weekends and federal holidays. So today's Friday. So right now the law says March 19th, even though it's the 21st. When I come in on Monday, when I go to work, it's going to say March 20th. On Tuesday, it'll say March 21st. By Wednesday, it'll say what Monday's date is, which I think will be the 23rd or 24th. So it's constantly being updated every day, Monday through Friday. So this law will be between 1 to 5 days old. Everybody tracking?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Now, if you come down here, you'll see this second red arrow. It says View Table of Contents. And you're going to click on it. And when you do, it'll bring you to this site right here. It'll say Subpart B Disability Rating. Now, everything you see from the VA from this moment forth will always say disability. Always. But remember, it doesn't exist. We only use it for legal terms when dealing with the word compensation. Everybody tracking?
Tracking.
Now, everything from subpart B on down has to do with the human body. Gentlemen, I don't care what you're going to claim. I don't care how big or small or minute you may think it is. Whatever you're going to claim, I will bet you any amount of money you'll be able to find it in this law. Okay?
Nice.
Okay.
So, then you're going to scroll it down till you get to 4.70, where that third red arrow is. It'll say inadequate examinations, and you'll click on it. And when you do, it'll bring you to these two diagrams right here. Now, the reason why I start here is for this simple reason. It does not matter that I was blown up 5 times and got 4 Purple Hearts. It does not matter that I was paralyzed and I have to shock myself to walk every day. None of that matters to the VA. They don't even care. They don't care what happens to you. They don't care what the diagnosis is. They don't care what any doctor has ever said about you from the day you come in the military to the day you get out. They really don't. They only care about 3 things when it comes to rating you. And they're going to ask these 3 questions in this exact same order for every single condition that you claim. Now, these 3 questions are broken down in 2 phases. Now, how many of you on the panel have back issues?
I do.
I do.
Okay. So let's say you claim your back, right? Back condition, phase 1, question 1. Do you have evidence? If the answer is no, case closed. The rater's not even going to rate you. The VA will send you to a doctor. That doctor's going to write up an 11-page medical report on your back. It's going to send it to the rater. When that rater gets your folder, he's going to look through everything through your folder to see if there's any evidence to show that your back got injured in service. If he cannot find that evidence, he's simply just going to non-service connect it, move on to the next condition, and won't even read that 11-page medical report. Because remember, they work off of production. Why read that 11-page medical report when it doesn't do them any good? Because they want to rate your claim as quickly as possible to get that high production number, to get that high bonus. Everybody understand that?
Yep.
Got it.
Okay. Now, I can already see what you're all about to ask me because it's written all over Colt's face. What constitutes as evidence? Don't worry about that. I just want you to understand how the process goes. Because trust me when I tell you, and I know you're not supposed to trust anybody who says that, but trust me when I tell you, once we get done talking today, I'm going to show you where you'll have evidence for every single thing that you're claiming once we get done talking today. I just want you to understand how the process goes. Everybody understand that?
Tracking.
Got
Okay.
it.
So, back condition, phase 1, question 1. Do you have evidence? If the answer is yes, now it moves into phase 2. Going from phase 1 to phase 2 is the hardest thing to do when filing a VA claim. You got to have the evidence before it comes out the gate. Now, once you have that evidence and it gets into phase 2, you just hit the jackpot. And I'll explain that here in a second. But once it gets into phase 2, it's going to ask 2 simple questions. How does it affect your range of motion and your quality of life? And that's the 3 questions the rater's going to ask for every single condition that you claim. 1, do you have evidence? 2, how does it affect your range of motion? And 3, how does it affect your quality of life? Everybody tracking?
Tracking.
Dragon.
Okay. So if you claim your elbows, shoulders, or wrists, or your knees, ankles, or hips, here are the range of motion tests you would do the day of the exam. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
And there it is right here. Range of motion test for elbows, shoulders, and wrists, knees, ankles, and hips. Now, since we are talking about the back, all right, the VA will ask 3 questions for everything that you claim, broken down into 2 phases. Phase 1, evidence. Phase 2, range of motion. And flare-ups, quality of life. Now, when you scroll down to do this law, you're going to come across these boxes, and you see where that arrow says, it says the spine. Okay? Now, fucking train. It never fails. How many of you ever heard of CRSC?
I have.
Okay. CRSC is for retirees and medical retirees only. If you did not get medically retired or you retired, CRSC does not count for you. Does anybody on the panel been medically retired? Did anybody on the panel retire? No, I'm not even going to cover that then. Okay. When you come across this big box, it covers everything to do with your spine. And when you get to the bottom of it, it'll show you the range of motion test for your upper back and your neck, and your lower back. These will be the range of motion tests you'll do the day of the exam. Everybody tracking?
Tracking.
Okay. Now, there are 7 ratings. Well, first of all, does everybody see the bottom line and the top line of that box I have highlighted?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everything in there that's highlighted, that's considered a paragraph. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's 85 words, 500 words, or 6 words. If you look up here at 100, there's 6 words in there. Each one of these boxes are considered a paragraph. Everybody understand that?
Got it.
And if you look to the right of each paragraph, you'll see a number. Whatever paragraph you fall into, that's the percentage you will get for this particular condition. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, there are 7 numbers for your spine, 0 through 50 and 100. There is no 60, 70, 80, or 90 for this particular condition. So if anybody ever thought that I should have got a 60, 70, 80, or 90, I've already proven to you why I didn't get it, because it doesn't exist. Everybody tracking?
Tracking.
If you also notice, all the numbers end in what?
Paragraph.
A 0.
No, what do the numbers end in?
Oh, a 0. It's a divisible.
0, right? You will never, ever, ever, and I mean ever, 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 ever find a VA condition in anything but a 0. So if anybody ever comes up to you and says, hey, bro, check it out. I got a 97, 85, 72, 63, 54, 48, 39, 21, 17, or 5 for any type of condition, do yourself a favor. Don't ever listen to that person again, because they're straight lying to you, because at the VA, they only go by 10s. Everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, we're going to pause for a second. We're going to look at the wrist. Now, remember, all these things that look like sentences, they're all paragraphs. And if you look to the right, you'll see some numbers. Whatever paragraph you fall into, that's the percentage you would get. But if you look at the far right, you'll see where it says ratings. And then you got 2 columns of numbers. One says major, one says minor. And if you also look that the major column is greater than the minor column. Now, what exactly does that mean?
Primary and secondary.
How many of you all are right-handed?
I am.
Is there anybody left-handed? So everybody's right-handed, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Major is your dominant side.
Okay.
Minor is your non-dominant side.
Gotcha.
So since you're right-handed, you're right-hand dominant. So you can get more for your right wrist than you could for your left wrist, which makes sense because you would use it more. Everybody understand that?
Tracking.
Mhm.
So I just want you to understand what that major and minor is. So when you come going through this law and you come across it, you don't get stumped. And what's the max number you can get for your wrist?
50 major and 40 minor.
Exactly. And you'll see why I bring that up here in a second. All right. Now back down to the spine. Like I said, there are 7 numbers for your spine, 0 through 50 and 100. There is no 60 through 90. So what I'm getting at is, not everything has a 60 through 90, just like not everything has 100, i.e. the wrist. The max you can get for your wrist is what?
50.
50.
50, exactly. But you can get 100% for your spine. Now, in order to get 100% for your spine, like everyone said I should have got, The terminology of the first two words means fusions of the vertebrae. Now, anybody know what that means?
Your entire spine has to be fused, I'm guessing.
No, I'm talking about, does anybody know what the fusion of the vertebrae means?
It becomes one.
Yeah.
Y'all are smart, because when I went through this process, I didn't know what any of that shit meant.
Hmm.
So, here's a diagram of the vertebrae system in your back. You got 3 backbones that are numbered 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you look off to the left and right side of it, you see those orange things that look almost like chicken feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's your actual nerve endings. Now, those nerve endings are like electrical wires. They're hot at all times. If they ever touch each other or cross paths, it'll be like an electrical storm going off in your back. And trust me, you don't want that. And the yellow stem up top, that's your actual spinal cord. Now, the location of those green dotted lines, that's your actual disc. Your disc are nothing but a little round sac filled with gel that acts like a shock absorber that sits in between each vertebrae. Everybody knows what an accordion instrument is, kind of opens and closes.
Yep.
Right.
Believe it or not, the vertebrae system in everyone's spine is like an accordion. So every time you lean forward or you lean back or you go side to side, your vertebrae are doing this. They're constantly opening and closing. If those discs weren't there, every time you move, your vertebrae would do this, which would be very, very painful. Why? Because you get that bone-on-bone action, and then those nerve endings are going to start hitting each other, which you do not want. Now,
I've had that happen several times, lower back specifically, where those nerve endings will touch and it'll collapse me. I'll be down for a couple hours at least.
Now that whole system runs from the base of your neck, from your C1, all the way down to your S5, to your tailbone. Roughly 35 to 38 vertebrae, give or take a few. Now, here's a side view of your backbone, and it shows you the different level of your disc. You got a normal disc, you got degenerative disc, you got a bulging disc. If you look on the inside, you can see it protruding a little bit. A herniated disc where it's really protruding and it's setting up against your vertebrae. The thinning of the disc, and down here, well, these 2 discs are pretty much gone. That means you're going to start getting that bone-on-bone action, and then those nerve endings are going to start hitting each other, which will be very, very painful. So how do they alleviate that pain? Well, there's 3 ways they can do it. They can put pins, screws, or rods in each vertebrae. And that's what those blue dots represent. Then they'll take a metal plate, right? That's what that black bar represents. And they'll put it on the both left and right side of the vertebrae. And that'll tie all 3 of these vertebrae to become one solid bone. And that is a fusion.
Gotcha.
Everybody tracking?
Tracking.
Now, going back to the law, in order to get 100% like everyone said I should have got, it says fusions of the vertebrae of the entire spine, meaning everything from your C1 all the way up top of your neck, all the way down to the base of your tailbone must be completely fused together. If that was the case, it's basically you'd have one solid bone in your back. You wouldn't be able to do anything from the waist up. You couldn't even nod your head. If you want to look left to right, you literally have to turn your body like this. The problem with me is I don't have any fusions, so I couldn't get 100. Make sense?
Mm.
Right.
Now, I don't agree with this, but remember, Congress writes the law. The only thing the VA does is enforce it. Everybody tracking?
Yep.
Tracking.
All right, so the next possible rate I could have got would have been a 50, and I couldn't get that. Why? Look at the first 2 words. Fusions of the vertebrae of the entire thoracic lumbar spine, meaning everything from your T1 all the way down to your L5 or L6 must be fused, roughly 18 vertebrae. Once again, no fusions, so I couldn't get a 50. So the next possible rate I could have got would have been a 40, and I couldn't get that. Why? Look at the first 2 words. Fusions of the vertebrae of the entire cervical spine, meaning everything from your C1 to your C8 must be fused. Once again, no fusions, so I couldn't get a 40. Now, how many of you have any fusions to meet this criteria? for the 40, 50, or 100?
None.
Nobody?
None.
Neither do I. So when you're filing for your back, if you don't have any of those fusions to meet those criteria, don't even look at the top 3 percentages because you'll never get it. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the next possible rank I got would have been a 30. I couldn't get that. Why? Because that's dealing with your neck. I'm not talking about the neck. We're talking about the back. So the most that anyone could ever get that's in my condition and in your condition for range of motion is a 20. And if you read what it says forward flexion of thoracic lumbar spine is greater than 30, but not greater than 60 degrees. Meaning, if you can bend more than 30, but less than 60, you'll get a 20.
Yep.
Now, that's the range of motion. The second thing I talked about in phase 2 was quality of life, right? If you claim your spine, the doctor's going to tell you to stand up, bend over, and attempt to touch your toes, and you'll do it. However, at any point you feel unbearable pain, I would recommend you stop and say, Doc, I feel pain at this point. Now, what may be unbearable to me may not be to you, true American, right?
Right.
What may be unbearable to you may not be to you, Brandon, correct?
Absolutely.
Meaning everybody has a different level of pain. So at any time you feel unbearable pain, I would recommend you stop and say, Doc, I feel pain at this point. Yeah, but go ahead and bend over and touch your toes. Nah, dude, I'm done. That's a wrap. I can't bend no more. Be very, very adamant about it and make him write that number of degree down. Why? So when the rater gets it, he looks at it and says, okay, service member was able to bend more than 30, less than 60, but felt pain at 45. Now that rater has justification on giving you this 20 and possibly bumping you to a 30, 40, or even a 50. Why? Range of motion, quality of life. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yes.
So even though you have no fusions, you can still hit that 50 benchmark in the law due to your quality of life. Any questions on that?
That's mind blowing.
None.
Now, listen, I will never, ever tell you to lie by no means. But what I will tell you is when you go to your VA exams, you must, I say again, you must unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, show the doctor what you are on your all out 100% worst day. Not your best day, not your so-so day, not your in-between days, but your all out worst day. Why? These doctors don't know you. You don't know them. You're just a number to them. And honestly, they can give 2 cents about you. But your VA exams are going to affect the rest of your life financially. Let me say that again. Your VA exams are going to affect the rest of your life financially. And when I say show them what you're on your worst days, I call them flare-ups. And with that being said, I'll now take you into part 2. Any questions so far?
No. Shout out Triple
No.
T. I'm glad that we're having this.
Yeah, I am too. Oh, this is gonna help.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Hey, by the way, J Devil, True American, Brandon, the link is in the private chat. Brandon, I know you're on your phone. I'll send it over your way.
Oh,
All
no, I copied it already. We're good.
I clicked the link and I have it on another screen as well.
Good.
I'm going to copy this link, put it in the private chat as well. This link right here that I'm about to put in the private chat. This is the medical forms that the VA uses. Now, the VA took down all their medical forms off their website because they don't want anybody to have them. But this is a civilian website. They can't take them off of this website because it's a civilian website. Do not take these medical forms into your VA exam. Because if you do, they're going to want to know where you got them from. Okay? It's just going to raise a very big red flag and sound off a very loud alarm. When you go to that website, it'll look something like this. All right. And it's broken down by body parts. You got your heart, your dental, your skin, ear, nose, and throat. Talking about your thyroid. You want to go all the way down till you get to the musculoskeleton. That's dealing with your body. Come all the way down to the bottom where it says back, thoracic, lumbar, spine condition. You're going to click on that link, and when you do, it'll bring you to this form right here. Now, this is the medical form for your back. You'll see up top where it says back, thoracic, lumbar, spine condition. Disability Benefit Questionnaire, DBQ. Every condition you claim will have its own medical form. Now, the good thing about these forms, they're all set up the same. They all ask the exact same questions, no matter the condition. So this is the one for your back. Let's say you want one for your knees. Simple. Take the word back out, put knee in its place, and you got the exact same form. So what I'm getting at is you don't have to go look up 20,000 different forms. You can look up the exact same form to get the logistics for everything. Everybody tracking?
Tracking.
Now, remember how I said that there's 3 questions they're going to ask, and it's broken in 2 phases. First question is evidence, and then in phase 2 is range of motion, quality of life. I only use the word quality of life in the beginning because everybody knows what that means. But when you go into your VA exams, do not, I say again, do not ever use the word quality of life ever again. Because if you go into your exam and say, hey, doc, my quality of life sucks, they're going to say, well, I'm sorry to hear that. And they're just going to keep on going. The key word that they're listening for is the word flare-ups. Flare-ups are going to be the key to your success. So, you have to look at your exams like a pizza. Instead of getting 8 slices, you're going to get 2 halves. First half is ROM, R-O-M. What do you think that stands for?
Range of motion.
Range of motion.
Yep.
And then
Second half,
flare-ups.
flare-ups.
Flare up. Yep.
Okay? Now, when you go to page 2 of that medical form, you're going to get to section 2, medical history. And if you go to 2 Bravo, it says, does the veteran report that the flare-ups impact the function of the thoracic lumbar spine? Or it may say flare-up of the neck, flare-up of the shoulder, flare-up of the elbow, flare-up of the wrists, flare-up of the hands, flare-up of the hips, flare-up of the knees, flare-up of the shins, flare-up of the ankles, flare-up of the feet. The word flare-up is going to be on every medical form, guaranteed. Everybody understand that?
Yep. Tracking.
And if it's yes, document the veteran's description of the impact of those flare-ups in his or her own words. This is where you would tell the doctor how these flare-ups affect your quality of life and what you need assistance with. For an example, let's say when you wake up every day and your back's in a lot of pain, because that's what flare-up is, it's pain, right?
Right.
So maybe you need help getting out of bed in the morning, or maybe you need help getting dressed waist down, or put your shoes and socks on, or maybe you need help getting in and out of the shower, or maybe you take 45-minute showers to warm your body up, or maybe you cannot sit, stand, walk,
What's up, Charlie?
run, or drive for any length of time when your back is flared up. I say again, maybe you cannot sit, stand, walk, run, or drive for any length of time when your back is flared up. I say that again. Maybe you cannot sit, stand, walk, run, or drive for any length of time when your back's flared up. Do I need to say it again?
Oh no,
We got it.
we tracking now.
Sit, stand, walk, run, drive.
Or at the end of the day, your back is so flared up, you can't bend over to untie your shoes, so you got to physically kick them off.
Yep.
If that's the case, you need to bring it up to the doctor and have him put them in these medical notes. If you don't, and you don't say anything, and that doctor doesn't ask you anything, when this medical form hits the rater's desk, if that section 2 is barely filled out or not filled out at all, what do you think is going to happen?
They're gonna push it back, or you're just not gonna get rated because there's no quote unquote evidence.
You're only going to get half the pizza. Half the pizza, half the rating. So this is
Gotcha.
what I would challenge you to do.
Gotcha.
For everything that you're going to claim, I want you to go get a notebook. At the top of each page, you're going to put the name of the condition you're claiming: back, shoulders, knees, elbows, wrists, hands, hips, whatever it is. Then I want you to answer these 5 questions right here. What can you do when that condition flares up? What can't you do when that condition's flared up? What do you need assistance with when it's flared up? How does it affect you physically when it's flared up? And how does it affect you emotionally when it flares up? And this sub 5 questions is the things you can't do when it's flared up, like sit, stand, walk, run, or drive. You're going to write all that in your book. Then, since you know your body better than anybody else, you're going to go back to the medical forms and you're going to read through them and you're going to pick out what you think the most important question is and write that in your book as well. So that way, when you get inside that exam room, you got to think of your exams like a combat mission. What wins the battle? Offense. You need to be on offense, put the doctor on defense, and stay 2 steps ahead of him at all times. So when you get inside that exam room, if that doctor doesn't ask you that question or forget to ask you that question that you already written down in your book, you can bring it up in conversation. Be like, hey, doc, I got this wrong with me, or I got that wrong with me. And don't take the medical forms in there, but there's nothing saying you can't take that book. And if they question you about your book, all you got to simply say is, look, doc, I got a lot of stuff wrong with me. I can't remember all this crap. I just want to make sure everything gets annotated. That's perfectly fine. Just don't take those medical forms in there.
Right.
Everybody tracking?
Tracking.
All right. So your exams are like a pizza. You got range of motion and your flare-ups. All right. So this is how they're going to come with your overall rating. You remember how I said the doctor the rater doesn't care, or the VA doesn't care what happens to you, doesn't care what the diagnosis is, doesn't care what the doctor says about you? Remember when I said that in the beginning?
Yeah.
Roger. Yeah.
Okay. Your rater is not a doctor. He's just an average person like you and me. They cannot read x-rays, MRIs, CT scans. Let's say you have 5,000 pages in your medical records. Do you think that rater is going to read all 5,000 pages?
No.
No.
If he does, he's an idiot. Because remember, they work off of production. They want to rate your claim as quickly as possible. All they're simply going to do is put the name of the condition in the computer, and the computer is going to scan every page of your medical records. And every time that condition pops up, it's going to write that page number down. Right?
Right.
So when we get audited, Congress comes in there with their staff members, and they're going to say, hey, did you write so-and-so's back? Yep. Where's the evidence? It's going to hand them a piece of paper that looks just like this. It's going to have your name at the top, name of the medical records, and the name of the condition. It's going to have all the page numbers. You're going to say, here you go. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Now, once he establishes you got the evidence, then he's going to pull that medical form. He's going to go to the bottom of page 2, and he's going to look at your range of motion numbers. So, when I tell people they need to show the doctor what they are on their worst days, most people think they have to go inside their exam room, act like an 80-year-old person. That's not the case. The day you go to your exam, you may feel perfectly fine. But what says the next day you will? Right?
Right.
It's all how well you articulate your story. It's all how well you paint your picture. So, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to be me. You're going to be the doctor. And I'm going to show you how I would do this process if I had to do it all over again. Now, I'm going to make a side note. I am not trying to coach anybody. I'm not trying to coerce anybody. I'm not telling anybody to say or do what I'm saying. I'm just showing you how I would do it, and you take it however you want. Now, when the VA sends you to the doctor, they're going to send you to a civilian doctor. They're not going to send you to a VA doctor, and there's a couple of reasons why. If the VA sends you to a VA doctor, that's a government employee, right?
Right.
And if
Right.
that doctor says or does something that you don't agree with and you file a complaint against that doctor, what do you think is going to happen to that VA doctor?
Bye-bye.
Hell no. We're government employees. It take the act of Congress to fire us.
No, I'm
Ain't
saying
nothing going
you
to happen to him.
relocated, put somewhere else.
No, ain't nothing going to happen to him.
You're gonna screw-
Really?
he's not gonna respect you, and he's gonna just do anything
Yeah.
to help you.
But that civilian doctor, they're civilian contractors. Believe it or not, they get paid $5,000 an exam. Most veterans get anywhere between 3 to 5 exams when they file a claim. So they're going to make anywhere from 15 to 25 grand off of you. You're the golden ticket. Their thought process is, hey, the more veterans I get in, the more veterans I get out, the more money I get. So what I'm telling you is, don't let them rush you. Meaning, if they go right shoulder, right knee, left knee, pump the brakes. Hold on, doc. You're going way too fast. I'm not done talking about those flare-ups in my right shoulder. Make sense?
Got it.
Okay.
Remember, that doctor works for you. You don't work for that doctor. Now, don't go in there and be rude and crude to them because they can't kick you out. But don't go in there and let them rush you around either. Because if you file a complaint against that civilian doctor, they lose their contract that day, and they know that. That's why they're more liberal to give you a better write-up versus a VA doctor. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Now, these civilian doctors know nothing about your civilian life. They only know what you tell them. Meaning, they don't know if you're married. They don't know if you got kids. They don't know if you live in a house, an apartment. They don't know anything about you personally. They only know what you tell them. So with that being said, I'm going to show you how I would do this process if I had to do it all over again. Once again, I'm not trying to coach nobody. I'm not trying to coerce anybody. I'm not telling anybody to say or do any of this. I'm just showing you how I would do it, and you take it however you want. So you're going to be the doctor. I'm going to be me. And this is how I would do this process if I had to do it all over again. And the conversation would go something like this. All right, doc, check it out. I came in the military in 1989. I was a 19 kilo, an M1A1 tanker. I'm married and I got 4 kids. Now, when I came in the military, it was very, very frowned upon to go see a doctor if there was anything wrong with you. Because if you did, you were labeled as a dud. You didn't want that. Because 1, you never get promoted. And 2, no one would ever follow your lead. Now, is that a fair assessment?
Close.
I mean,
That's at the time, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Now, with everything I've done in the military, from being a tank gunner, a tank commander, a tank platoon sergeant, a drill sergeant for 3 years, observer controller for 2 years, and all my field problems and 4 combat deployments, it's taking, and retiring as a company first sergeant for the last 4 years, it's taking a toll on my body, especially my back. You see, doc, every morning when I wake up, my back is so flared up, I'm in so much pain, I can't get out of bed in the morning. So my wife has to help me get out of bed. I also need help getting dressed from the waist down and put my shoes and socks on. My wife does that for me as well. But you see, doc, I'm very degraded. It's very degrading to me because I got to rely on my wife to take care of me like I'm a 2-year-old. And that doesn't set too well with me emotionally. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You're answering the 5 questions.
I also need help getting in and out of the shower. I take 45-minute showers, warm my body up. And I definitely cannot sit, stand, walk, run, or drive for any length of time when my back's flared up. But you know what, doc? That's pain. Pain lets me know I'm still alive, so I can live with that to an extent. What I can live with is, I mentioned to you earlier, I got 4 kids. Now, my kids look up to me like I'm a superhero. They think I'm indestructible because I'm in the military. And when I can't go outside with them when my back's flared up and show them how to ride a bike or throw a ball or play catch, now I feel less of a man because I feel like I'm letting them down. You see where I'm going with this one?
Yep.
Emotional.
Or, hey, doc, every 2 weeks when me and my wife go grocery shopping, if my back's flared up and I can't help her carry the groceries from the car to the second story of our apartment complex, now I feel less of a man because I'm making her do all the manual labor.
Yep.
See where I'm going with this one?
Yep.
Or, hey, doc, when my back is flared up and I can't be intimate with my wife Now she feels like I'm no longer sexually attracted to her. That's just not the case. I'm just in too much pain to do anything. And now it's causing a rift in our relationship. See where I'm going with this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or, hey, Doc, when I'm at work and my coworkers or my peers have to, or my subordinates have to pick up my slack when my back is flared up, now I feel like I'm the weakest link. Doc, I'm never the weakest link. I'm the go-to guy. You see, gentlemen, now how these flare-ups affect you, how's it affect everyone around you? And that's what you got to articulate to that doctor. You got to paint that picture. You got to paint that picture by answering those 5 questions. What can you do? What can't you do? What do you need assistance with? How does it affect you physically and emotionally? You got to paint that picture. And if you paint that picture and you paint it well, at the very end of that picture, if you say something like this, if you say, and by the way, Doc, I need you to make sure you put this on my medical forms so the rater can see it. If you say something like that, I can pretty much almost guarantee you get a good rating. One, because the doctor's going to know that you're educated and you can't pull the wool over your eyes. And 2, you're going to get this whole pizza. So I want you to be greedy and daggone eat this whole damn thing and get fat and happy just like me.
Buffalo chicken.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hey, so Trav says Triple T literally has me tearing up from what he's talking about right now, and I haven't shed a tear in 5 years. I had to pull over while driving.
Well, I'm sorry. That was not my intentions. I'm
No,
sorry.
no. Good thing, Bubba. Good thing. Just the information that nobody knows. It's yeah.
So does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions about flare-ups?
I have them all the time.
Any questions about the law?
No.
No.
Any questions about the medical forms?
No. Don't bring them in.
Well, I got one question actually. So whenever you're talking about an injury and then you get back to like the emotional aspect, so uh, they rated me a 0 for psych. They said you're not going to get compensation, but you'll get free health care coverage for it. Would that
Yeah.
that claim?
Yeah. So what's the question?
So would they take the psych emotional state even into consideration, knowing that it's a 0?
Yeah. If they gave you a 0, that means they service connected you. I would highly recommend that you go back and put another claim in and get that 0 raised up.
Okay.
And if you do, that should be enough to get you to that true 100 and you can come off of IU.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So any questions on what we went over so far?
No questions.
All
Trav
right.
No, it's
says
all
it's
good
a good
info.
thing that he got that he's tearing up. It's a breakthrough, he thinks. And then Charlie D says Tim's a real deal American hero. Not just saying that because we're friends either.
Appreciate that, Charlie, but I'm not a hero. All right, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't think y'all truly understand.
No, I understand.
No, you don't.
How do I not understand?
Well, hopefully this will explain it to you. So
Okay.
I got 3 columns of numbers up here. We're going to look at the one on the left where it says ROM at the top. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say you claim 5 conditions and you got a percentage for all 5 conditions. Let's say you got a 50% for the first condition, a 20% for the second condition, and a 10% for the third, fourth, and fifth condition. Right?
Right.
Now, when we add these 5 numbers up right here, now I must tell you, going up and down, we're going to call that VA math. Going left to right is Walmart math. When we add these 5 conditions up right here, most people think that would be 100, but it's actually 70. Okay?
Okay.
Now, the second column, but what's this column right here talking about? This
Range
column
of
right here.
motion.
Your range of motion.
So we're only talking about half the pizza.
Right.
Okay. So the second column is flare ups. Now, there are 4 ratings you can get for flare ups. You can get a 0, a 10, a 20, or a 30% additional to your range of motion. So let's say you got a 10% across the board for each condition. Well, you take that 50 plus that 10 will give you a 60. 20 plus that 10 will give you a 30. Those 10s plus those 10s will give you 20s. When you add these 5 numbers up, that gives you a 90. 70 to 90, that's a $500 difference. That's a car payment. All because of flare-ups. So, gentlemen and people in the chat, I'm going to say this most polite, direct way as possible. So please do not get offended by this. And if you do, well, I apologize in advance. If you do not, I say again, if you do not like money, when you go to your VA exams, don't say a single word. But if you like money like I do, you better learn to become Tashi 6ix9ine real quick and start snitching on yourself.
Oh my God.
Well put. Well put.
Holy shit.
All right, T.
Got it.
Because look. Whoops. All right. So we already determined the max number we can get for range of motion is a 20. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you got a 20% for your range of motion and a 10% for your flare up, what would your rating be for your back?
I missed the numbers one more
If
time.
you got a 20% for your range of motion and a 10% for your flare up for your back, what would your rating be?
30,
30.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a 20 and a 20,
40,
40.
a 20 and a 30.
50.
50.
Now do you see how important those flare ups are?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now do you see how you get to those that 50 without any fusions?
Right.
Flare ups are going to be the key to your success. Because listen, not everything has a range of motion test. For an example, your eyes. You can either see or you can't see. However, some people have a difficulty driving tonight with that oncoming traffic where you get that whiteout effect.
Yep.
And believe it or not, in 2016, a study came out and said that long usage of night vision goggles and TIS and flare systems can ruin the retinas of your eyes. And if that's the case, you need to bring it up to the doctor and have them put them in your notes.
Man. That
Wow.
is,
NBGs were our favorite pastime.
yeah, I swear to God, looking at the stars at night through MBGs.
Yeah. Because if you don't, you're not going to get any of the pizza. Because not everything has a range of motion, but everything has flare-ups. I don't care what the condition is. I don't care if it's your heart, your lung, your digestive system, your legs, your hands, your feet, whatever. Everything has flare-ups. Now do you see how flare-ups are the key to your success?
You just blew my mind.
Definitely.
Brandon's over there like, well, daggum.
Oh, I'm taking notes. I got 8
He's
years.
a lucky one. He's going to be ready when he gets out. Take this in, Brando.
What was that?
So take this in, Brando.
Oh, I got it. Like I'll be set. But I guess, granted, obviously, depending on what changes between now and then, because you said that was at in 2016, so that was what, only not like 8-9 years ago.
All right.
We
Anybody know
yeah,
how
we
VA
was-
math works?
No.
No, that's
I
still,
think
VA
I
math
do.
has still baffled me.
So,
Okay.
like from what I understand, it's they always take the higher percentage first. So say that 50%, and then there's a remaining 50%. So the next one will be 20% of that remaining 50%, and then so on and so forth.
Hey, Cole, people can't hear your mic.
Colt, turn your. Hold on.
All right.
Test. How about that?
You're
Much
good.
better. So I got two math problems on the board. Both of them are the same, two different answers. Now, the question is basic math. When I say basic math, I mean like 1 + 1 is 2. using that type of math, which one's the correct answer?
The one on the right.
The one that says 100, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. We're going to call that Walmart math. What I mean by Walmart math, that means if you worked at Walmart or shop at Walmart, that's the exact type of math you're going to use. Everybody tracking?
Got it.
All right.
Now, the one on the left, believe it or not, that's also the right answer. We're going to call that VA math. You're going to say, how that's possible? Well, I'm going to show you how we're going to take this Walmart math, apply it to VA math, and you're going to get that number every single time when you add those 5 numbers up. Now, if you follow this method, if you ever get low on cash, go to your local bar and you can show people how to do this math trick and you can win all kind of money off of them.
Listening.
So, this is how VA math works. Now, when I say that both of them are the same answer, and you're going to say, how's that possible? Well, simple. There's 2 things I learned in life. 1, men and women lie. That's a fact. And 2, numbers don't. That's another fact. So, there's one thing I forgot to tell you about VA math. It's a 2-step process. The first step is the person who's going to rate you, they're going to list your percentages from highest to lowest. Highest percentage first, lowest percentage last. Don't focus on what the condition is. Just focus on the numbers. Highest percentage first, lowest percentage last. Everybody understand that?
Tracking.
Tracking.
Then you're going to start out with a whole number. That whole number will always be 100 at first. Why? It's the max number you can get. Once you have it set up like this, now it becomes basic math.
Oh shit! 50% of the whole number
Equals 50.
Yep.
100 minus 50 equals 50.
Because of half the pie. Half that pie is 100% of ROM. The other 50 is 100% of flare up.
Hold on. Who disagrees with that first one? Nobody? So
Nobody.
then you would draw a line through it. Your newest highest whole number will become a 50. Your new highest percentage is a 20. Because you'll never use that 100. You'll never use that 50 again. Once it's used, it's done. One and done. So your new highest whole number is a 50. Your new highest percentage is a 20. 20% of 50 is 10. 50 minus 10 equals 40. Who disagrees? And put a line through it. Your new highest whole number is a 40. Your new highest percentage is a 10. 10% of 40 is 4.
4
40
minus 4.
is 36. Who disagrees?
Okay, so now I've got questions because never mind. It's come together. It's like because you said zeros.
Huh?
You said
He's talking about the tens, yeah.
Yeah, you're the VA is always
Hold
going
on.
to be zeros.
I'm going to get there. Hold on. So now your new highest whole number is a 36.
Right.
Your new highest percentage is a 10. So 10% of 36 is 3.6. 36 minus 3.6 is 32.4. So your new highest whole number is a 32.4. And that last 10% of 32.4 is 3.24. 32.4 minus 3.24 is 29.16. Trust me, I'm right on that. Now, get rid of everything after that decimal. We only want the whole number. That's 29. 29 subtract from the max number you get of 100, it gives you 71. But remember, we only go by tens. So that's going to downgrade to a 70. That's why if you add these 5 numbers up, you'll get a 70 every single time, and it's basic math.
Gotta love the VA.
Now, the key is you want this last remaining number to be 5 or less to get to 100. Because if you come in at 65.0 to 74.9, you'll always be a 70. A 75 to 84.9 will always be an 80. An 85 to 94.9 will always be a 90, and anything 95 or above is an automatic 100. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Any questions on VA math?
Nope.
Okay. How many of you get headaches or migraines?
All the time.
All the time.
There are certain conditions you don't need medical evidence on. Headaches and migraines are one of them. Why? Because the law wants to know how often you get them. And the VA realizes if they require you to have medical evidence every time you had a headache or migraine, some people will be at the doctor's every day and they know it's not possible. So they developed what they called a headache migraine log sheet. Now, this headache migraine log sheet will be on a VA form 21-4138. That's this form right here. There's something very special about this form. Section 1 will always be the veteran's information. That'll be your information. Why? Because if you look at Section 2, it says veteran social security number. Guess what your VA file number is?
Social.
Your social. That's why your information needs to be in Section 1, because our system is designed, it's going to scan block 2. If that social does not match up with your VA file number, which is your social, it will not let us put that form into your folder. That way we don't cross-contaminate documents.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Now, Section 2. This paragraph right here basically says that you get migraines at least twice per week. It affects your life both personally and professionally. And you are submitting a 4-month backlog with your claim. This scenario, the backlog started on Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025, with migraines, symptoms of nausea and light sensitivity, and how long it lasts. And then you'll backdate it 4 months from the day you file. So let's say if you filed a claim today, you would put the first 3 weeks of March, you would put all of February, all of January, and all of December of last year, sign and date,
Question.
and there would be your medical evidence. Yes.
Photophobia, is that like when light bothers you?
Yeah, light sensitivity.
Okay.
So you would sign and date it, and there's your medical evidence. Now, there's 4 ratings you can get for migraines. You can get a 0, a 10, a 30, or a 50. Those who fill out this migraine log sheet, what we noticed over the last 8 years, end up getting a 30 or 50. Those who don't will get a 0 every single time. Now, in order to get that 30 or 50, you would need a buddy statement from someone that you work with. The thing is, it's the exact same form. Whose information goes in Section 1? Yours, because you're the veteran. So you're going to write the buddy statement. You're going to sign the buddy statement. The only thing you would need the person's rank, first name, last name, and phone number. And here's an example. It says, I, Specialist Jane Doe, am writing a statement for Corporal John Doe. I witnessed Corporal John Doe get migraines at work. When Corporal Doe would get these migraines at work, it affected his ability to do his job at times. And some days Corporal Doe would leave work early. And there were times that Corporal Doe did not come into work at all because of his migraines. If you have any questions concerning this matter, please feel free to contact me at any time at this phone number. Nothing follows. And then you would sign and date it. And there would be your medical evidence. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, what constitutes as evidence? If it's in your medical records, you're good to hook.
Paper
If
trail.
you're combat arms, they can use your MOS, they can use deployments, jump logs, things of those natures, CIBs, CABs, or buddy statements. How do I know buddy statements work? The very first claim I ever did was for a young captain, only had 4 years in the Army. He never deployed. He only had 1 duty statement. He only had 45 pages in his medical records, never went to the doctors, but once a year to get his annual flu shot. He claimed 20 items. He brought me 20 buddy statements, 1 for each condition, and he ended up getting 100%. buddy statements do work. Now, if you're out of the military, the first thing you need to do is make sure you have a current diagnosis. You have to have a diagnosis for that condition. If you don't, they're automatically going to deny it. So whatever you're going to claim, go get a current diagnosis for it. Go see the doctor and make sure it's in your records. Then get a buddy statement from someone that you worked with in the military. Write it up basically like the migraine buddy statement with their rank, first name, last name, and a contact number. Fill it out, sign it, and submit it. Now, the odds of them calling that person, you got a better chance of winning the lottery every day for the next 100 years, what they call that individual. The VA just needs something to check the block off. So when they get audited and they say, hey, you got any evidence? Yeah, I got a buddy statement. Think they're going to take the time to call that person?
No.
Hell no, they got 550,000 claims to go through.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Nope. Keep it coming.
The key thing is when you file your claim, you got to make sure you have the evidence. Once you establish the evidence, everything else falls into place. But when you go to your exams, you got to make sure you talk about your flare-ups. Flare-ups are going to be the key to your success. Now, would you be surprised if I told you my sister-in-law got 100%?
You what?
Yep. Because when she went to her exam, see, when I went to my exam, my doctor didn't ask me a question. I didn't say anything to him. He didn't say anything to me. I was in the exam room for no more than 3 minutes. He had me stand against a wall, had me bend forward, backward, side to side while he took pictures of me. He didn't ask me about flare-ups. I didn't say anything about flare-ups because I didn't know anything about flare-ups. However, when my sister-in-law went through the process, when she went in there, she said she was depressed that she couldn't wear high heels. And depression affected her mental state. And mental carries a big weight when it comes to the VA, especially with 22 vets killing themselves every day. So the running joke in my family is if I'd have just broke my pinky toe instead of being blown up 5 times, I'd have got 100%. I smooth cussed her ass out when she told me that.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I'm going to probably call her up today and cuss her out again just for GP of it. Damn hoe.
Oh wow. Yeah. I went when I first got out. I've been reevaluated 3 times until I got my PNT, and each time it went up. But I got out at 80%, reevaluated a few years later 90%, and then just recently reevaluated again and finally got my 100, permanent and total.
Now, since you didn't get 100 out the gate, you have to maintain it for 10 years. After 10 years, if you die after having 10% for 100% for 10 years, if you die after that 10 years, VA will automatically assume it to be service connected. It doesn't matter if you die in a car accident or whatever the case may be, they're automatically going to assume it was from a service connected injury, and your spouse will be entitled to the full DIC. But you got to maintain it for 10 years.
So don't die in 10 years. Got it.
Now this is going to sound kind of morbid, but I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying. And this is actual law and facts. And I told my wife this. I've been out of the military since 2009. I've had my 100% for the last 15 years. I told her, if I die or I get into a car accident or whatever, and they got me on life support, do not unplug the machine. They cannot force you to unplug it because you are not considered dead. Even if I'm brain dead, I told her, leave me plugged up to that bitch until she's getting ready to croak. because that way she gets full everything. Because I'll still be alive. She'll still get my retirement. She'll still get my VA. She'll
Yeah.
still get my CRSC. She'll still get my VA work check. Do not unplug that bitch.
Damn.
Now, if she shacks up with another dude, I'll fucking
Bye-bye.
yeah, I'll make sure that bitch gets
So,
unplugged my damn self.
Yeah.
And I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
If you get put on life support, and if you want your spouse or your significant other to continue to get the full check, do not unplug it. Because the moment they consider you dead, your benefits stop. And now it goes to DIC payment, which will be half of what you're getting now.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. That's crazy.
Hey, T, I appreciate the in-depth just education. One thing that I am gonna dive into is Voc Rehab with the VBA to figure out the small business, because like I said, I got 2 LLCs. It was informational and still educated me, even though I'm P&T, but now I'm focused on the other benefits that I was unaware that the VA had to offer. I had Brad talking about some of he's out there on golfing trips, and they gave him a set of clubs. There's hunting trips.
Yep.
I mean, I'm interested in this. The VA actually offers this, but they don't put it on the front line, because you know what that could do for all veterans' mental health to be around battles again.
Now, do you depending on what state you live in, I know it's very big in Texas. It's called Homes for Heroes.
Yeah.
They actually, if you contact them, they'll go through your records, and if they deem that your injuries is severe enough, they will actually build you a home for free.
Like,
The,
say again?
Homes for Heroes.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
They're out
yeah,
of Texas.
these are things that I need to dive more into. Like I said, the biggest thing is the Voc Rehab, and trying to get any of the LLCs that I have up off the ground, so that I can stop diving into my own pockets to get my supplies, get my equipment, improve the quality of whatever I'm putting out, whether it be music,
Yeah,
apparel.
because if you get the grant from the VA, they can pay for your whole studio, a professional studio.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to talk to that. I need more information. As I dive into it, I'll throw it your way too. If anybody ever has questions about that, I'm sure you already have that information. But for Brandon, Brad, J Devil, definitely slide it your way as well. From what I
So
found
the
from
best
Voc
thing to
Rehab.
do, whatever area you're living in, just Google VA vocational rehab, find out their location. It'll list their location and their phone number on the internet. Call them and tell them what percentage you're at. Tell them, hey, I've been out of the military. I got this percentage. What can the vocational rehab do for me? And they'll lay it all out there. You could get possibly free education. Your family members get free education through them, depending on how hard is someone to get caregiver income to it. Well, that's funny you say that. Is that your wife?
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
If
message me privately, and there's some
I'll
things I'm
send
not going to say over line.
I'll send her your number. She's currently on her way back to go visit her father, who was also a veteran. Not doing too hot. She also said, also, when it comes to funeral services, you say it's completely covered. That includes a memorial service or just a burial or cremation.
If you are buried at a veteran cemetery, they will do the full service. The only thing you pay for is your casket or your urn, depending on how you want to be laid to rest. But they'll bring out the military honors. They'll detail the nearest military installation to bring a funeral detail out, which will consist of 7 riflemen, NCOIC for the riflemen, 6 pallbearers, NCOIC for the pallbearers, and depending on the rank of the veteran, you might have an OIC. If they're a sergeant first class or below, actually no, a sergeant major or below, it could be a staff sergeant or a sergeant first class. But if it's an officer, they have to have an OIC there.
Yeah, she'll reach out to you if you don't mind me sending your number to her.
That's fine.
Appreciate that, Josh.
Yeah. Anybody in the chat or anybody on the panel got any other questions? I mean, this has been educational.
This is life-changing information.
And y'all, for those who like J Devil, hell, Brandon, when it's about your time, and anybody in the chat that is serving, if y'all begin the process and it gets overwhelming, I have no problem y'all reaching out to me or my wife, and I'm sure T wouldn't have a problem with it either.
Problem at all.
To help alleviate the, I wouldn't say stress, but overwhelming feeling that it does give you when you're going through the process.
Now, Brandon, let me ask you a question. When do you plan on getting out?
2033 is my retirement.
Okay. Now, so shit, that's what, 8 years from now?
Yeah, I still got a little bit.
If I'm still working for the VA and you're on active duty, I can do your claim for you.
Really?
Yeah. I just can't, once you're off active duty, I can't touch you.
So, like, while I'm going through the retirement process, you can, but as soon as I officially get my DD-214 and then start doing stuff, you can't do anything at all with that?
Correct.
Okay.
So let's say if you're stationed in Alaska and I'm in Louisiana and you reach out to me and say, hey, I was on a panel with you 8 years ago. I'd be like, I don't know who the fuck you are. What? But just jog my memory. If you're still on active duty, then yes, I can do your claim.
Okay.
I just can't do it once you're no longer on active duty.
Okay. So before I officially get that DD-214.
Before you hit 180 days, you need to contact me.
180 days from retirement or 180 days after retirement?
180 days before retirement.
Okay. Heck yeah. If you're still working for the VA, which I don't know what your plan is, or if you ever plan on hanging up the, stop working at any point, but
I can retire in 5 years. But if they, with this whole Doge thing, if they offer me early retirement with a good amount, I might take it.
I don't blame you. Heck yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, still, even worst case scenario, I can always when it gets to that point, ask for your opinion and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Just remember, no matter what they tell you, you always talk about your flare-ups. Now, you're going to go, when you go through the process, you're going to deal with what they call an MSC, Military Service Coordinator. That's what I do. Some MSCs are lazy, and they'll be like, well, this is the only thing in your record. This is the only thing you can claim. That's not true. You can claim whatever you want.
As long as you have evidence.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, it's also in a weird spot for me because I'm in recruiting, so we don't go to normal doctors or hospitals or any of that stuff.
So
we do our once a year PHA, which is virtual, and they just pretty much ask if you're alive, and that's about it.
What you need to start doing, if it was me, once a year, I would go to my civilian doctors and get your medical notes put on a disc in a PDF format. Make sure it's not encrypted, and make sure there's no password on that disc.
Okay.
And that way, when you go to file, you have those medical records with you, and you give it to your MSC. They can download them.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely do that next time I go and see my primary care.
Or you don't have to do it once a year, but at least if you know, when are you coming off recruiting status?
I'm full 79 Romeo now, so I'm full time.
Are you doing it full time?
Yep, I converted last year.
Okay. So a year before your retirement, get all your records put on a disc.
Okay.
What state are you out of? If you don't mind me asking.
Right now I'm in Pennsylvania at Penn State.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good old State College. And then before this, I was in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, one of my soldiers ended up going 79 Romeo. Fucker ended up getting Sergeant Major. He outranked me, motherfucker.
Awesome. All right, that's all you. Maybe one day, but I still got a while for that. I'd like to at least pick up 7 this year for my first look, but it comes out in May.
Cool. Are you satisfied with your service, and would you serve again? Josh, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you met me. That was probably the highlight of your entire service.
I'd go back for my brothers if I had to.
No, in a heartbeat, I'd go back. Life was simpler. Things made sense. There's things that, of course, nobody likes sleeping out in the rain. And
all right, well, let me ask you this question then: would you serve today, or would it be when you came in?
When I came in.
What about today?
Today, I don't know anything about it. It's changed.
That's what I'm saying. If you can maintain what you learned about the military, but be 18 and join today, would you do it?
Yeah, I still would. But I would still be behind, because everything that I maintained, what I learned in the military then, is all outdated. The regulations, the SOPs, the policies.
I would not do it.
Really?
It is too political. With the way I talk, they would have me on death row.
Yeah. When I joined, I watched one of my drill sergeants.
Because soldiers can wear beards now.
Yeah.
Females can wear ponytails down to their ass. They can have face tattoos. They can have all that crazy shit.
Yeah, we can have, guys can have frosted tips.
What?
Haircuts,
yeah, 670-1.
I get a tattoo when I was in.
What baffles me is 670-1. You can add to, but you can't take away. And then they kept adding to the whole tattoo policy, and then you weren't allowed to have tattoos. Then you were flagged if you had a tattoo. Then it was when we were in drum, Brandon.
Yeah, it was Sergeant Major of the Army Chandler, I want to say, changed the whole tattoo, where he tried to base it off the Marine Corps.
In the Marine Corps, our tattoo policy was if it could be covered by PT gear, it was fine. But if it was outside PT gear,
yeah. So that's what ours changed to during that time. But it was like, if you had any tattoo prior to that showed during the PTs, like they all had to get photographed.
Yep, I had to
photograph. Had like full sleeves, each individual dot.
Document a new tattoo I got a month before my EAS, and he's like, "Go ahead and take this S1." My gunny was like, "Nah, don't even fucking worry about that." So I just took that bitch and ripped it in half.
No, it's gotten too political.
Yeah, no, I would lose my mind with.
I gave a briefing.
Policies.
I gave a briefing 6 months ago to a bunch of senior non-commissioned officers, and while I was down at that location, just a normal NCO seen a soldier walking, smoking a cigarette while on the cell phone.
Nope, everything you're not supposed to do.
Right. He stopped him, corrected him, and that kid and the E4 looked at him and says, "I'm going to go file a sharp complaint."
Oh,
and that
what
dude broke out. Hold on.
Fuck?
He broke out in a dead ass sweat, and I thought he was going to die. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? He's like, my career is over. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He said, as soon as he makes that sharp complaint, they're going to believe his word over mine. So I went inside and I told the class what happened. There was 48 people in that classroom. 32 people pulled out, and they said, well, that's why I carry this. It was a pin, but it had a camera on it. And they were basically wearing personal body cams. So that way, if anything happens, I have it all on film.
You're correct about that.
Oh, wow.
That's why I would not serve today, because it's gotten the lower enlisted.
I didn't
They run the
realize it got so
military.
stupid.
They look, E7's basically is an overpaid private. They have no weight in the military today. I don't.
I appreciate that.
Huh?
In the Marine Corps, they just don't give a shit. They're like, oh, I'm at my rank where I'm gonna retire. I don't give a fuck. That's my gun. These things like it takes Congress.
It is very much now. It's like not what you say; it's how it's perceived. So you could say like the most basic crap, but if one person perceives it wrong, then it's you saying it was wrong.
Here, I'll give you a true story. 2019. I'm not gonna say the CG's name, but all you gotta do is go look up Fort Polk 2019 to see who the CG was, and you can figure it out. We had a sergeant first class. He had 19 years in the Army. He was married with 5 kids, going through the medical board. He was a master blaster. Jumped out of aircraft, had a bad landing, broke his back in 3 places, put him through the med board. He had a CIB. He had 5 combat deployments. He had 2 Purple Hearts, a Bronze Star, and a Silver Star. While he was in the med board, one of his PFCs showed up late for formation. And he said to him, hey, young troop, you need to get your head out of your fucking 4-point of contact and get here on time and stop being a shitbag. That PFC went and told the first sergeant. The first sergeant went and told the sergeant major. Sergeant major went and told the brigade sergeant major. Brigade sergeant major went and told the post sergeant major. And it made it to the CG's desk. And they end up chaptering that E7 with 19 years. He lost his retirement, married with 5 kids, all because he told a private to stop being a shitbag. And this private had come up hot for marijuana, had a DUI, and had 2 Article 15s.
Yeah, I'm good.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
Fuck
yeah,
that.
I'm good on all that.
And after that, and when I seen that and I read that report, I said, this has got to be bullshit. And that E7 looked at me and he says, hand to God on my kid's life. That's exactly what happened. And that's from when I said I would never serve today.
Fucking feelings.
Well, I didn't know it got that retarded because the military that I remember, especially going through basic and AIT, this was before Sharp was a thing. This was before, what do they do now? Stress cards or some shit?
Yeah.
No, that's always been a myth.
I went through basic training with my drill sergeants, doggone whatever name and creative doggone slang that they could come up for you.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh, yeah.
My drill sergeants still put hands on you.
Mm-hmm. Same. Like we had a thing even in the fleet, like it was, you want a negative counseling paperwork or you want to go outside and take the rank off?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You want to go out in the doggone tire pits? Let's go.
Yeah. I got scars on my face.
Oh, there have been many times I went behind the tank line with my soldiers.
But I gained you respect.
Yeah. Daggum, man. No. Josh, I retract. If that's what the military has turned into, no. Absolutely not.
I'm actually disgusted right now hearing that story.
Yeah,
I didn't realize the military went like that.
Yeah, the lower enlisted are in total control today.
Peace.
I see. Trust me. I work on a military installation. I see it every day, and it takes everything in my power to bite my tongue. So I literally, when I walk outside of my building, I lower my head
down to the car, and that's it.
And I just get it straight to my car
before you lose your mind.
Yeah. Because when I hear the flag go down, I don't give a fuck where I'm at. If I'm on that installation, I will stop.
Yep.
Open my car door and get out and fucking put my hand over my heart.
Colors.
While all these other doggone lower enlisted won't.
You see, when I was in, if you didn't pull over, you got a fucking ticket.
You got a ticket. You from wall to wall. You were doggone handled by your leadership.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
You were holding a sign outside of the parking lot. saying, "I will salute the colors."
Didn't
Street.
wasn't it? Who was? I think Mika was it Mika Wycheck or someone else? Our base, not our base commander, our battalion commander, made someone stand on the corner with a sign.
I know.
Remember what I'm talking about?
It was. I know Mick told me because it happened before I got there, but he was telling me something about it was in the motor pool, like something about him driving, so he had to hold a sign
Motor 2.
or
Yep.
something about speeding.
Heaven forbid you can't do that no more because
It might have been Mick. I don't know if it was Mick.
it was hazing. Can't do no hazing
When
anymore.
I was in, if you were a troop and you walked by an NCO, you give them the proper greeting. Hey, good morning, Corporal. Good morning, Sergeant. If you
Yeah, and then you get the fuck out of their way.
parade rest when you talk to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of respect.
Jesus. All right, I retract my statement, T.
What happened?
Well, for his other comment for the rest of you guys, like, are you still like proud of your service and everything, or like what you done?
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. I am.
Look, I will say this: as fucked up as my body is, and all the pain and shit I went through, I would still go through the same time period. Not today. I would still join the military when I did. Even if the same results were the same, I would still go through it, no matter what.
I told people the reason I decided to serve was to protect those who can't protect themselves.
Josh, yeah. So I would still like recommend people joining today, but it is very dependent on the job they do now.
Please go change our military. Like, bring it back to what it used to be. If you're going to join, make it right.
Well, I will say this: since Trump's been in office, believe it or not, he has made changes because all the installations that got changed their names, they're being changed back to the original names.
Thank God.
Yeah, Fort Bragg is back to Fort Bragg, but it's for like a different
a person. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're finding the ways to change it back because Fort Liberty was stupid.
And Fort Johnson will be changed back to Fort Polk probably within the next 6 months.
Yeah, how did the liberals not doggone attack that Fort Johnson?
The thing was, Fort Polk was named after our 11th president.
Army alcoholic was going home.
The reason Army alcoholic was because they were named after Confederate generals. Because right after the Civil War, they named those bases after Confederate generals to like build unity, and to help like with the rebuilding afterwards. And then I guess randomly they were just like, oh, they're named after Confederate generals. We're changing all of them, and like that became like a big issue. It's just whatever they decided to argue with during that time frame.
That's ridiculous. What up, Mo? Good to see you, Bubby. No. Okay. Well, now that I'm educated, like I'm still in the nostalgia of when I went through. I would go back again during when I went through. Jeez, man, I was a bored baby. Doggone it.
For Josh, so again, like I'd still recommend. It is very dependent on your job and leadership. Like if you have like good leadership and like people that actually like are doing what they're supposed to, then like the units are fine. But like if you have like a pushover as like a leader, then the unit sucks, and then it's just gonna make your time miserable.
What is your MOS, Brando?
I'm 79 Romeo now, so just recruiter. So I mean, luckily, like for me now, it's literally like me and one other guy in my station. We're 2 hours away from our leaders. We see them maybe once a month. Like I'm on calls and Teams calls and stuff with them like every week. But it is just me running my station with him, and that's it. It's me and it's Sergeant First Class, just us. So we can still bullshit. We can still do all that stuff. But like I only go back to military installations. Like I go to Fort Dix where our battalion is maybe once every 6 months or so, and then I go to Fort Knox for schooling, and that's it. So like I am still in with being as far away as possible.
Yeah, I understand.
But I mean, and then before that, I was an MP with Colt.
Oh man, Blue Falcons.
Oh, you could ask
We
Colt.
were
I was
we
I was
were
pretty
not the garrison MPs.
Yeah.
We were the field MPs.
Yeah.
My crew
Can't stand MP.
he's a gunnery sergeant now, but he was corporal ranking when I met him. He actually
My brother was an MP. My sister-in-law was an MP. My wife was an MP. My old man was an MP. Fuck MP.
You're the outlier.
I was
Yeah,
I was
Right.
I was an 1833 amphibious assault vehicle operator with 2nd Platoon Bravo Company, 2nd Assault Amphibian Battalion out of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
ASVs.
ASV.
Yeah, good old amphibious.
Fuck them things.
Yes, motherfuckers. Yes.
Yeah, me being an MP, I was an actual MP and doing like technically like MP before coming to recruiting for like probably about 8 years. I maybe worked the road for 9 months of those 8 years.
Yep. It always happened that way too.
Yeah, because it was like I showed up to drum, immediately deployed, came back, worked the road for like a couple months, and then we're going to deployment again. And then I went to Bliss, and 3 months later, we got sent to Korea. And then I came back from Korea, and we worked the road until COVID, and then I got put on recruiting assignment.
Oh, I remember the one time that they put me on the quote unquote road. It was just our time to do the gate, and we were at Gas Alley Gate, and we had the base commander come through. I'm not going to say his name, Major General, but he had come through. I'm sure you remember this because it became the whole company about lost their mind when
I
did
was
this.
not allowed to work the gates anymore.
Oh, I was on the verge of never ever ever working the gates after I did this. So the base commander comes through and he's dressed up in mossy oak, real tree, whatever hunting camo he was in, and he was in an old doggone like Vista Cruiser station wagon type thing, no tent on the windows, and I see him and I check the ID, sir. Climb to glory. Welcome to Fort Drum. And grab the ID, and I look at it, and I look at him, and I said, sir, you been hunting recently? And he looks at me and goes, yeah. Fantastic. Do you have any weapons in the vehicle, sir? Yeah. Is there a chance that you could pull off to the side so that we can open and make sure that those weapons are secure and empty? He goes, you know who the fuck I am? I said, of course I do, sir. Yoink. Rips his ID card out of my hand and drives off. I'm like, to the top, sir. And end up calling it up to the PMO because I had the license plate information and everything. And I told them who it was. And they still ran him down. And my company, my company commander, my battalion commander, But how was I wrong? I was only following his SOPs.
Yeah, I don't think I was working the gates during then.
It sounds like he's do as I say, not as I do kind of guy.
Yeah.
Is he the one that died 2 days before his retirement?
I'm not sure because he was in Afghanistan with us. I'm not sure.
I appreciate you letting me come up and do
I think
this.
so, but
Yeah, of course, Bubba.
I'm gonna get off here. I gotta go feed my dogs.
Hey, thank you so much.
no, yeah, appreciate all your help. Very, very good information.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody on the panel.
Semper Fidelis.
And for every veteran out there who may see this, or if there's anybody in the chat, just remember, thank you for your military service. It is great Americans like you to keep this country free, and for that, I am truly grateful and thankful. And with that being said, God bless you, and God bless America. Y'all have a good day. Salute.
Appreciate
God bless, T.
All right, Colt.
All right, Bubba. Thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to cut this as well. We are going to end it. We've been running for 2.5 hours. We do have country rap shit popping off here in about an hour and a half. I got to get ready for that, and my phone is blowing up.
I got more crap to talk on up church.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Colt Montgomery, and these have been my co-host and special guest from top left.
True American Brad ass.
J Devil, Chris Seaburn.
Brandon Gotchell.
And there you go. This has been the Watchtower. And I appreciate y'all regrouping, resupplying, and recalibrating with us. Until next Sunday at 1500, y'all, we might have some other very educational things to talk about. Until then, this has been the
Simple
Watchtower.
do or die.
Thank you.